Hello and welcome back to another new edition of Windows and Current Affairs, and today we continue to embark as Egypt's being on top of the world's destination to be visited. Usually when a country is chosen as the world's best destination, receiving too many tourists, too many visitors, usually it happens on, it is marked on 1 or 2 seasons of the year. But according to Egypt, it is throughout the whole year, the 4 seasons. It's throughout the, 365 days, everybody longs to visit Egypt, wish to come and spend their vacation. I mean, all types of tourism. We have different types of tourism, as we all know. It's not only one type of tourism. And also, we have different charming spots to visit. Not only for winter, not only for summer, for autumn, for spring. And that's why Egypt was chosen as the world's top destinations to be visited by Lonely Planet, which is one of the very popular platforms on social media. We're going to be finding a lot, or talking a lot about that particular topic today in Windows and Current Affairs, and we're very delighted to be having with us Mr. Salah Hedayet, and he's a tourism expert. Good evening, Mr. Hedayet.
Nice to meet you.
What is the story? Of course, we all know that because of the too many types of tourism, activities over here that are offered for visitors, that's why Egypt is marked on the tourism map on top of all countries. But talk to us about the whole story.
Okay. First of all, as you start to about Egyptian tourism, we are one of the remarkable or the best destination all over the world for people to spend their vacations all over the world. According to, we had many countries in the world that are very well known about the tourism, like Spain, like Paris, like France, like Germany, Turkey, but not any place like Egypt. If you are searching for a pattern of tourism, like a historical tourism, you know where are going: Cairo, Luxor, Aswan, Alexandria. If you're going for the leisure or the beach tourism, you're going to Sharm el-Sheikh and Hurghada. And recently this year we start to have new patterns or new destinations also in Egypt. According to Sharm el-Sheikh and Hurghada, be full booked during last winter and last summer. So now we start to have new cities like Ain al-Sukhna, like Galala, like also Marsa Alam. So now we start to have new patterns. According to Egypt was full booked before, especially last summer. If we're going to have a medical tourism, you have Siwa Oasis. If you're looking for sports tourism, we had it also in Egypt. So every single type of tourism we had known or had studied in the factory of the Ministry of the Tourism, we had here in Egypt. That's why Egypt one of the best destinations for tourism all over the world, for any type of tourism. So before 2 weeks, I had one of my guests. She had a dream to come to visit Egypt for more than 50 years. And finally she came to Egypt and make her trip or make her dream come true.
That was in which season?
Before 2 weeks, or maybe the end of October.
Okay.
Once she looked to the Pyramid of Giza, she started to cry. She said, finally I'm here. So Egypt also not just a country to come to visit, like all the other countries in the world start to be now very famous with tourism, but Egypt had more emotional with people. Egypt now is the only country we had a phenomenal, or maybe we can say trend, called Egyptomina, as the lovers of Egypt. People all over for more than 200 years, since year 1822, people still now had some relations both with Egypt. They want to come to discover what this civilization depends on. And sure, when they come and start to meet our tour guides and start to know more about the history, the stories about Egypt, they know very well this civilization, not just civilization of rocks or civilization of pyramids, of temples. No, it's a real civilization. So if we said Egypt is the dawn of conscience, we are honest about this description about Egypt. The morals, the manners, truth, faults, wrong, mistakes, scenes, everything starts here in Egypt. We know, we learned the people how to live, and we learned them how to turn from a hunter to be a citizen. Also discovered here in Egypt.
We've heard a lot about Egyptomania or Egypt mania. That particular very popular phrase that scattered and spread all over the world amongst people who were longing to looking for new places, for very interesting places that has history, that probably they want to enjoy cultural experience. They want to see a lot of new venues and places, not only one place. They choose Egypt, and from here Egyptomania emerged. Talk to us about that impression or the touristic experience of visitors. How important is the touristic experience, regardless of the promotions, regardless of the many other plans or plans that are set yearly by the different companies to promote tourism. So if you like to elaborate over the touristic experience of any tourist.
Okay, for the experience of tourists, first of all, they know very well. In Egypt, they are going to see a sightseeing, they never see it again. So to go to Giza and had a photo in front of the pyramids, in front of the Sphinx, going to Luxor, especially Karnak Temple, the Hebrew-style hall, is the greatest one all over the world. To have a photo there, it make for us a promotion for free. To start to have with a new social media apps like TikTok, like Instagram, like Facebook, to have a reel in Egypt. And now we start to have already some reels be standard for them. Just he choose a standard video, I start to put his photos or his videos on the standard video, so he start to now have a reel. Now people, once you put a hashtag Egypt or Egyptomania in your page or in your video, now you start to gain more views because people know, because we don't need to see more about Egypt. Now I start to find some guests, especially from America, from India or England. They're coming to look, please Salah, we need to take a photo like this one, because they know the influence of these photos for themselves. Even for, especially from this year until now, we had a lot of models, a lot of influencers. They're coming to Egypt. We start to have more and more and more Egyptian. You can find now, if you write for YouTube and write Egyptian vlogs, we start a lot of YouTubers start to make or turn them experience in Egypt. How was it for Nile cruises, for sites, for hot air balloon, for visiting Giza, for pyramids, for camels, for everything they had in Egypt, even especially the food. Now we start to know some people outside Egypt start to know very well some restaurants in Egypt, which offer them, like the famous one, sure, the Abu Tariq, for Egyptian food like koshari. We had for Hawashi Rabia in Mbaba. I even myself, I started to be shocked from where you know this restaurant. We said, okay, we saw before some vlogs for YouTubers or for influencers. They come to Egypt and start to say, come to Egypt and eat this type of food.
Exactly, here is the very important point, which is the incentives to attract tourists have changed by the advent of time, by the modern way of by the new generations. It's not always history. Of course, history will always be the most #1 incentives on top of the incentives to attract tourists. But there are other more interesting incentives, like, for example, gastronomy, which is the Egyptian cuisine, like some folklore, like some entertainment and music, and that authentic type of that we find it over here in Egypt. You never find it anywhere else, the Egyptian spirit. So talking about gastronomy and the Egyptian cuisine, which becomes amongst the #1 incentives to come and visit Egypt because of the organic food, the healthy food. Usually in Europe and the United States, the food is not that much healthy. Well, the advanced way of thinking and civilized and more healthier directions towards life promotes for healthy organic food. You never find it, and you find it very, very expensive in Europe and the United States. But here in Egypt, the whole food is organic. The whole food is healthy. The popular food here, our national dish is falafel. And you talked about koshari and other types of food.
Exactly.
And lentils, for example. This is very healthy. You put it on top of the menu for healthy foods.
Exactly.
So how have the incentives changed to attract people?
Okay, first we start for the standard way to say Egyptian cuisine is the most rich cuisine all over the world. No country all over the world had the variety of how we had here in our cuisine. So we start with, for example, as now for more than 2 million tourists coming from India this year. So Indians, they are so specific about their food because many of them, they are vegetarian. They never eat beef or never eat chicken or fish overall. So to have the variety, to can supply that for your guest, to come to Egypt, the first thing, especially for Indian guests, ask it about food. Do you have a vegetarian food? Do you have this type of food would be qualified for Indian guests? Yes, we have. Also for Chinese, they are so sensitive with them type of food. So here in Egypt, we have this variety. So the main dish, you can make it in vegetarian way or non-vegetarian way. It's both can apply for our guests. For example, before 2 months, I was in Luxor and Aswan during the trip of Nile cruise, and I have an Indian guest. So I asked the chief, please, we have here an Indian group, so they need a vegetarian food. It was very easy for him.
Easy.
To apply for him 3 meals for 5 days. It's 15
Falafel
meals.
is vegetarian.
Exactly. Falafel.
Koshari is vegetarian. Lentils is vegetarian.
Exactly. Vegetarian food we had already, like zucchini, like potato. We had a huge variety.
And organic zucchini.
Exactly.
Organic potato and
especially in Egypt, we are an agriculture society, so everything coming from our land. So, for example, you give example for United States. What is the national dish for them? Burger.
Burgers.
Yes, it's the same.
Full
in
of
Canada.
fats.
Exactly, the same in Canada. They don't have this type of vegetable already to can have the healthy food. They have to import everything and then make it so expensive, like you mentioned. For example, now Egypt is very well known with mango. With mango. Type of
You can
fruit.
never find any mango except in Egypt.
Exactly. That's why we start to have the mango festivals in Ismailia every summer season, and we know some guests now know they appointed and they put during the itinerary we need to visit Ismailia during the mango festival.
Too many types of food, like for example sugar cane, which is very, very nutritious. You have also the other types of food like corn, the organic corn.
Yes.
You just grill it and you eat it.
Exactly.
I mean, too many types that you can eat it and you can feel safe and vegetarian and healthy and organic and all that.
Yep. That's what they're searching for. Even with the Egyptian lifestyle, it's totally different from the normal lifestyle they had in some countries. So in Europe and also in America, if it can be 10 p.m., it means everything will be closed and everyone going to sleep. Also some countries in Europe, Sunday all shops will be off. So if they hungry and they need to hang out during the vacation, they find all shops and restaurants.
That's not the case in
closed.
Egypt.
In
A
Egypt,
very
24
little example
hours.
of healthy food, which could be like the arugula, the green with green leaves.
Exactly.
It's very expensive in the Western world. When you hear, you can find it only for like 3 pounds or 5 pounds or something.
It was before this price was before, so it now be more expensive now. So we are going for the same way. Even the appetizers, main cushion, sweets, desserts, everything here in healthy food.
Even
organic
the
food.
spices, even the oils. We have so many types of oils that they don't have it over there.
Sure.
You talked about Luxor and Aswan, where you have those types of delicatessens that you eat that are very specialized there, like doom, like the hibiscus and the you know, those types of food that you don't find it anywhere, and they could be medication for so many diseases.
Exactly. That's why we, during our tours, we offer to guests to go for the spicy shop. So, okay, we are not coming to Egypt to have some spices, but when they know the benefits behind the spices, they be shocked. Like
They
hibiscus.
already know about it because gurus talk about it over the social media. The nutritionists talk about it also.
Yes, exactly. That's for example, you mentioned hibiscus for the cold one and the hot one. So if you drink as a cold one, it makes
Exactly.
if you had a high pressure, be low. If you high and the hot
Sesame, for example, the Egyptian sesame.
Exactly. That's how now we are going to search in Egypt.
The Egyptian peanuts also.
Exactly. So we're going to find spices. You find this natural, organic, so very healthy. Going for food, they find. Going to now the new trend for the natural oils.
Of course.
So now we start to now have some places offered this type of oils, and the coming people come to search for it, especially from the eastern side of Europe, like
The flaxseed
Russia.
oil, Egyptian flaxseed oil.
Exactly, like
It's the one of the wonders of the most
Yes.
beautiful, most nutritious, and most also healthiest. I mean, they could be used for treating so many things,
yes,
cholesterol and everything.
sure, exactly, and also now we are dependent on a new type of promotion. Let's back again to this point. Now this type of promotion we can find it's more easier from mouse to mouse. If you visit Egypt before and you had the best experience when you are going for your work, so you met about 50 person. Now if you make one person come to visit Egypt, can promotion for more 50 person. Then going for the family meetings, so more 50, it be 100 person. Now make a promotion from one person to 100 person.
Exactly,
So
but
they
let me
now-
tell you something, Mr. Hedayet. The things that we talked about, I mean, all the benefits that Egypt, or the many distinguished features that we have, we inherited by nature. You know, those were gifts from God for this land, for Egypt. The food, the cuisine, the environment, the good weather, and the healthy, weather over here, and safety, and all that. We know it, and it was a gift from God. But there are other things that we should work hard on it to be able to acquire more, to promote more for tourism. That other countries made it to spend more effort on, and now they are taking a good mark over the touristic map. Like, for example, how to receive guests, like having new inspiring ideas for entertainment, like not taking advantage of some tourists at some places by a sector of some bracket in society. People in the field, of course they are illiterate, and to every group of people there is an exception. These are things that we should work on it, because out of all those gifts we were granted by God, those particular little mistakes can screw up everything.
Exactly. So first of all, we need to start from the children. Everywhere in Egypt, they have to know very well, if they are going to visit a historical site or meet a guest in the street, how they can trade with him, with this guest.
What happens usually? You as a tour guide, what exactly happens?
We can send tour guides to as a volunteers, especially from maybe some students from the faculty of tourism all over Egypt, all over the universities in Egypt. They're going to make some lectures for the students in schools. If you're going for a historical site or meet a guest in the street, how can you trade with him? Also, we can do the same with employers, because these employers going with their families.
Bureaucracy, you mean?
Also, to going there. So we need them to be more, show them appreciation, some hospitality in good way. But it's not meaning if you're going to see a tourist or see a lady wear short or something, you start to speak some bad English words, even you don't know what's the meaning of it. Even give me money, give me $1. No, it's not good way to show Egypt as a historical site, or Egypt as a, we can say it's a great country. You have to respect the tourists in Egypt. Second thing, we have to start to put more inspiration, more plans, more ideas, how to grow up the tourism sector. We don't need every year to wait some tourists coming from Germany, from Italy, from Russia, France, Spain. Now we have to go for the new market. We have to be more, I don't want to say aggressive, but we want to be more encouraged to go to these markets. For example, the Eastern Europe countries, the Soviet countries before, like Lithuania, like Estonia, like Serbia, Czech, also for Poland.
Usually those are also, they come to different seasons, and they come to Hurghada.
Exactly.
Those type of tourists, they have their own places
we need
in Egypt.
them. Yes, we need them. Now we know how Latvia, for example, we start to have some few numbers of tourists. They are coming with them own, as they are hearing about Egypt. So let's go see Egypt, how it look like. Let's go for the beaches in Egypt. But we need to have some new cooperation with it's now the rule for the embassies of Egypt in these countries, start to have some meetings with the ministers of tourism there, and also tourism companies start to had our plan for them, how Egypt can offer for them good time to or good vacations time. Now we had to start to open some new sectors in the language university or factory like also university to help some Egyptians speak in this language. For example, Egypt is a very big market for the Bulgaria tourists. Even in Egypt we just have 4 tour guides for Bulgarian language. For Lithuania and Estonia.
They love Egypt so much.
They love Egypt so much, but we don't have enough
people
numbers.
who speak the language.
Speaks
But they
language,
come
visit
over.
guides.
Let me, I mean.
The same with the Turkish language.
Yes.
Egypt now, after we had very relation about the politics relations, we start to have a very huge movement of tourists from Turkey.
Really?
Yeah, because they for 10 years, no one from Turkey can able to visit Egypt. Even they like Egypt, so you have to have some guides from this language. Egypt just had 4 or 5 guides speaking Turkish language, so now we had to go for again to have 2 leaders from there come to in Egypt, and they have translation permission from the ministry to translate for the guests. So if we are going to visit or to have some new sectors, some new countries, to open some relation with them, to come to visit Egypt, so we have to first to apply or have enough guides for them. Okay, we have to go for the conferences, okay, all over the world for tourism conferences about the global tourism sector or conferences. So we need to have very good sites there to show Egypt for them. Now
this we already established a foundation. I mean, a conference, tourism.
So
we've already we come along with.
So we know to go not here and now. We're going to go for them to show our plans.
Exhibit Egypt and reflect
yes,
in it.
exactly, to show our programs, our
Do you
itineraries.
fear that we're not innovative enough to be able to exhibit and reflect some attractive images about Egypt? Because really Egypt have so many faces. So do you think the people are not so the images are not inspirational enough for visitors?
Okay, we are depend on for last years how Egypt is a historical country. Now the tourist outside Egypt is not coming to Egypt just to see the pyramids, just to see Luxor, just to see Aswan. We have to show our real life for them. For example, now if you watching the Champions League football matches, also in Africa or in Europe, European Champions League, so you can find on the matches, visit Saudi, visit Dubai, visit Rwanda, and put a hashtag. If you scan this hashtag, you're going to see the daily life or the lifestyle of these countries. Okay, but if we had the same and we already had this before them, scan the QR code, you find them Egyptian sites. No, we have to show them how the real Egypt look like, not just pyramids. Everyone in the world now can make Google and find pyramids. No information about pyramids, no information about Luxor. Every site and museums. We need to see them how the real life in Egypt. Like for example, Khan Khalili, Maija Street, Alexandria downtown, Cairo downtown. Now we had new type, especially start in America and start to be inspired all the world, the movies tourism or cinema tourism, to go to visit the same sites which be market inside movies.
That's right.
For example, since the 2019, after the film of Joker for Joaquin Phoenix, more than 100,000 tourists go to visit the same stairs where Joaquin Phoenix dances the famous dance as Joker dancing. Can you imagine 100,000 tourists go to visit a staircase just because one of the actors dance here?
Good idea.
Yes, they're going to have we going back again to TikTok and social media just to have a reel as you are dancing like him in the same place. It make you famous. Or
and also the fashion shows that are hosted in the Giza Plateau.
Yes, okay, that's main reason we had more models now to come, because now going to the same site to had like wear very nice dresses and had a photo session there even with your mobile phone, okay, but to have this photo and then put it on social media, now make all Egyptomania, okay, followers come to visit Egypt or now follow you, and then Okay, I see a lot of, before a year, I see one of my guides, my colleague, he had a group from bloggers and influencers from Brazil. He's a Portuguese guide. For one of these bloggers, each one of them had more than 2 million followers. And they start to make a daily stories. Now, for example, very early morning, before they're going for tours, they start to make a video for them dress or them outfit today. Them start to show some reels, some photos, some stories from them tours.
And what is the background?
Okay, the background of them, they're just coming to visit
Downtown,
Egypt.
midtown Cairo, and
Exactly, everywhere. So when I ask my colleague, can you see the insights of them stories, which people more like? Can you ask them for that? He answered me, they following the stories about the downtown of Cairo or in Aswan or Luxor,
yes, very
and
authentic.
the real life when they, for example, when they had a carriage, a horse carriage in Luxor or in Aswan, it's bring for them more likes than them photo in Giza. Okay, now the people search for that. I want to, okay, I know very well the Egyptian sites, all the tourism sites opened from 7 or 8 or 9 until 5. That's the only way to have some tours. What about the rest of the year, the rest of
so
the day?
that's statistics.
Exactly.
And
Now
it comes from the sector of tourism. You people in
Yes.
that particular field, you can the best people to make this type of assessment.
Exactly.
But also the reviews of some tourists. I mean, the reservations of some tourists that they enjoy their stay so much in Egypt, the charming places, the Giza Plateau, the beautiful places in Luxor and Aswan, but only when they see animal abuse and people mistreating the horses in the carriages, and especially at Giza Plateau,
Yes.
they might leave and they would never come back over here. And they also report and they mention it over social media. Now lately, the Ministry of Tourism, together with also some other sectors in the government, have been fighting that so much at the Giza Plateau. But still, the awareness of people there, they do not acquire it the wrong way, the right way. They just don't really, they are not in full realization that animal abuse is one of the turn-offs for the European tourism.
Okay, so what happened if tomorrow morning, okay, the Ministry of Tourism and the Ministry of Environment and also the all sectors or councils of animal rights, they start to put now a law, if anyone trade very bad with animals in Giza or anywhere, okay, very bad way, we have a bill.
Actually, the laws are
Okay.
ratified by the House of Parliament.
Yes,
but not
we
by
had,
the
we had to
animal
find,
rights.
we had to have a law first and then apply it.
Exactly,
Everyone,
but until they
everyone.
have a law,
Exactly.
there is a law,
And it's
number
umbrella.
45 in the Constitution. I mean, but the thing is that it is a problem of awareness. It is not according to the government or the people in tourism or the, most of the citizens, but some sector in society, they have the type of culture and awareness like any other, like other countries also. In
Exactly.
Africa, in China, there is also animal abuse, but we as the pharaohs, ancient Egyptians,
we respect animals.
we
before.
used to respect all rights, on top of them animals. And there is a phrase, like a transcription, one of the very popular sayings by Egyptian wisdom, that they do not at all harm an animal, and they respect their rights, and they I don't really recall the whole exact thing.
It's about the law. It was a law put by King Hormheb, last king.
Please, if you would like to.
Last king of 18th
relate.
dynasty. He started to put the first, we can say, constitution.
Yes.
Constitutes for all over the world. To
The first constitution all over the world
it was here in
comes from
Egypt.
ancient Egypt.
Exactly.
To respect the rights of animals.
Exactly.
What does it say?
That said, if the policeman find a human person treat very bad with or abuse his animal, he make him pay a fee and also be in the prison for life. Okay, so he push them to accept the animals. If you find a human person or Egyptian man or a slave start to carry more than weight on the back of the donkey, you have to punish him. And we have a lot of scenes we found in tombs from ancient Egypt, from judgmental
Even
tombs,
animals were mummified with the
animals.
disease.
and they worship the animals. Look, like they have worshipped many animals, like cow, like bull, like also crocodiles, like cats, dogs. So ancient Egyptian, they are the first country to respect animals.
Exactly.
But now,
We taught the whole world to respect the rights of animals.
exactly. So now it's about aware of the
It's awareness.
of the
Recalling our culture,
exactly.
our original
So
culture.
we had to put a line. If you cross this line, okay, you will have a punishment like what
Exactly.
Hormuzd did before. When you find everything be conflict or the awareness of Egyptian not now good like before, according to the religion revolution with Akhenaten, it was a chaos time in that era. I don't want to go specific for history for this point, but when you find the line or guarantee is not going well now, he start to put the new guarantee now, and if you cross this level or this line, you'll be
Then
punished.
you'll be fined.
Fined. You pay. Now we can say, okay, everyone now, camel riders, horse riders in Giza, they have licenses, okay, and without these licenses he can't enter Giza Plateau to work. If you find him abuse his animal, okay, in front of tourists or even not in front of tourists, take his license.
It's a complete turn off for European
Yes.
tourism.
Exactly.
Because
Especially
they are in full denial. I mean, they do not understand that such only one behavior like that, or a scene like that,
Yes.
would just scare them away. They would never come over to Egypt
Exactly.
once again.
Yes, we can. As tour guide, I can see that every day. Some people say they would like to have the experience to have a camel ride because they don't have camels in some countries, even in this famous plateau, to have amazing photo there, and they find looking for one of the people abused his animal. Said, okay, we can maybe do
They
it
don't
later.
wanna ride
We don't need it. We don't need it. They have to feed.
These
them.
are
They have
minor
to-
mistakes, and it's beyond the capacity of the government, because this goes back. I mean, this is a deficiency of awareness. We need spreading awareness among some sectors in society, the illiterate society, or in the rural areas, informal settlements, that they have never acquired that type of awareness, like respecting the rights of animals. I mean, some Arab nationalities might laugh at this phrase, but European tourists, they respect it so much, and they care about this. Is how they were brought up. If we like to attract the European tourists, we have to take heed that we
Exactly.
respect the rights of animals.
Yes,
And even
exactly.
some Egyptians, many organizations that, I mean, we are very civilized people. We respect the rights of animals. And because only of a minor, very minor, little percentage in our society who do not have this type of awareness can screw up the whole thing.
Yep. Yes, I see a lot of tour guides and a lot of guests also come to sites, especially in like Saqqara, like Dahshur, which is located inside desert and so far from the city. Sure, they had some street dogs and street cats. They come with food to feed
Of
them.
course. Egyptians feed them in the street.
Yes.
But then also, we have some other things that are really a point of attraction or an incentive to attract tourists, that it's in our culture, it's in our awareness. I mean, we are very much aware. Our generosity, our sense of humor, our very familiar citizens. I mean, they are very, very much familiar. I mean, they're not like the French people, for example. All the respect to the French society. But then you have the Egyptian people. Whenever a tourist is lost, for example, they take it on their shoulder to help him. They take it to explain to him, to offer him some juice, some sugarcane juice, some falafel. They do it on their own. I mean, we inherited that over the years. So we possess some very, very nice traits that nobody have taught us to do, but we were born with it. So if you like to elaborate.
Okay. From my guests, even, you know, especially in America, they are used to every vacation, long vacations, they have to go to a new country to visit. Also in Europe. So they all said that Egypt is the only country when you're walking in the street, without say any word, the man or the woman cross in front of you, they give you a smile. Even you don't know they don't know you, they don't know anything from you. Even when they find a couple or a group of tourists, they're crossing the street, they're going to help them by stopping the car and help them to cross. They said we never find it anywhere. Even if you find a tourist, he lost, and he don't know how to going back again to his hotel or his apartment, and just offered for a man in the street, he can speak English, or a taxi driver, and told him, he give him a ride for free because he lost.
Mm.
So Egyptian born with the hospitality, you know, because maybe Egypt is the first touristic country all over the world. As also we start the history, we start the tourism movement start here in Egypt, because Egyptian country is the first country all over the world start to give attention about history. So the people come to visit Egypt before 300, 400 years. So Egyptians start to port with hospitality. How to show your hospitality to your guest, even by saying good morning, even by saying hello.
That's how we are. Yes,
for kids,
over the years we've inherited that.
Even for children or students who's coming from school trips to Giza, they just ask it any guest, I want to take a photo with you. They feel happy about that, to back again to the same house and say, look, in our last trip we see this beautiful girl, this beautiful man. They are from outside, they are tourists. And a lot of tourists, they say
exactly.
yes. They say
it's
yes,
nice
come
things you
take
can build
photos
on it, you know. Also, again, saying that probably Egyptians, they do it by nature. They are not realizing that these are very important
for the
elements to attract the guests and attracts the tourists. But then at the same time, we should be coping with the momentum. I mean, when we talk about coping with the momentum, like we have a beautiful country, we have the richest history, we have 1/3 of the world's monuments, we have the best food ever in the world, the most organic, beautiful food, I mean, ideas and beautiful cuisine that we have inherited over the years, the best aroma, the best oils, and everything. But then at the same time also we have to cope with the momentum in the sense of creating new types, ideas of tourism, new environment, new facades for people to visit, just like any other country. Like, for example, Cancun in Mexico. It's a very small place. It doesn't possess anything, but it attracts a lot of tourists. It's at one season of the year. So like Rome, for example, some places in Rome, like in Spain, like in some other places, but they do not possess anything, but they are full of ideas.
Okay. I told you before we had some new types of tourism. I gave you example for like a movie tourism or cinema tourism. So we had the same also like food tourism. Now people coming especially to visit the countries searching for them type of food. For another example, to going for new sites, it's not historical, but at the same time it's tourism. We have some new activities they need to do. You know, okay, for example, like one of the more famous sites, it's Khan Khalili for sure, but especially it's the Fishawi Cafe. People, especially from Gulf countries,
of course,
from Europe,
cafes.
from America now, start to need to come. Okay, we hear about the Turkish coffee or Egyptian coffee. So what's the difference? So I start to give them the stories behind the coffee and Turkey and Egyptian, and how Egyptian called the coffee by Turkish coffee, and the story before about the coffee in Egypt. It's interested for them. So they asked, okay, you need to try Egyptian coffee. Even we had a lot of type of foods in Egypt. We delivered it and still use it since the ancient Egyptian civilization era. We had some new festivals. So, for example, Egypt, we are sure about that, the first civilization all over the world, the richest history country all over the world. But until now, we never make a sermon about the ancient Egyptian New Year feast. We never made it. Even we find the countries like Iran, they still until this moment make a festival and sermon with the Persian New Year ceremony.
The Georgian year, you mean?
Yeah, even the same in
Or
China.
Hijri year?
No, for the ancient Egyptian.
Oh,
the pharaonic
ancient
one.
Egyptian, yes, okay.
Okay, the pharaonic one. Okay, until now we make every year a ceremony
Exactly.
for the Hijra calendar.
That's very
What about the ancient Egyptian calendar? China received...
Especially the phases in that throughout the year for agriculture and
yeah,
for
it was really important
the flood,
for them.
and I mean, it's very famous. I mean, it's a history in its own right.
Exactly.
The Pharaoh year.
We need to learn the people that Egypt is the first country put a calendar. We are the first country all over the world that knows that the year is 300.
Astronomy and everything.
Yes, we had 365 days for 12 months. This is about the difference between Egypt and other countries. Ancient Egyptians, they invented the months for 3 weeks. Every week it's 30 or 10 days. So the month it's 30 days, but in 3 weeks, not 4 weeks. Just different. But we never make this sermon. We never make a sermon for the Egyptian unification. When King Narmer make or done the unification of Egypt, we never made this sermon. Egypt is the first unified country. So if you're looking for numbers, how many tourists China received per year during the sermon about the ancient calendar of ancient civilization of China, okay, it will be number we can't imagine. More than a million tourists during the day. If we're going to see how Spain gained from the Matador sermon, about 2 million persons attend these sermons.
Actually, Matador have destroyed tourism in Spain because of the animal abuse also, and they already on their way to stop.
Exactly, but some people,
some
people
place,
like
yes,
it.
of course.
One day I met a group, guests from Spain. They told me, okay, we rent our flat or our apartment, okay, and we buy for the week of the Matador, okay, and they're coming to visit Egypt by this money. Even they are saving some money also.
This is very precious statements.
Okay, so why Egypt don't do the same?
Exactly. Unfortunately, we came to a time that we have to end it here. Of course, Mr. Salah Hedayet, has been very interesting time taken to talk with you on Windows and on current affairs. Thank you so much for coming over.
Thank you.
And wish to have you again real soon, inshallah.
Soon, inshallah. Nice
Thank
meeting
you so much. And by this, we come to the end of this edition of Windows and Current Affairs. Many thanks to all of you. Till we see you again next week. That's a goodbye. أنا لا أعرف